Scotland, a land of misty valleys, strong mountains, and old castles under stormy skies. The stones whisper with history, stories of brave heroes and betrayals, love and sadness. You can feel it in the old walls of the castles. Each stone is like a memory of the past. Many castles are empty now, their halls filled with echoes of history. Some people say you can still feel the presence of the people who lived there long ago. This is where our story begins, in the beautiful and mysterious Scottish Highlands. Get ready, because we're about to enter a world where legends and reality are the same thing. Emma, a history expert, was excited to explore the castles and uncover their secrets. She had spent years studying the history of these ancient structures, memorizing every date and name associated with them. But for Emma, reading about history wasn't enough. She yearned to walk through the same halls as the people she had read about, to touch the stones that had witnessed centuries of events, and to feel the atmosphere that had shaped so many lives. This trip was more than just a research opportunity, it was a chance to connect with the past in a deeply personal way. She knew all the dates and names, but she wanted to experience the past for herself. The plaques and maps were just the beginning. Emma believed that by immersing herself in the environment, she could gain insights that books could never provide. She was particularly interested in the lesser-known stories, the whispers of history that often went unnoticed. Every corner of the castle held a potential discovery, and Emma was determined to uncover them all. But she wanted to experience the past for herself, to feel a connection to the people who lived it. As she walked through the castle courtyard, she imagined the lives of those who had once called this place home. The walls seemed to whisper their stories, and Emma felt a profound sense of connection to the past. She could almost see the bustling activity of a medieval court, hear the clanging of armor, and smell the aromas of a grand feast. This was history coming to life, and Emma was thrilled to be a part of it, to feel a connection to the people who lived it. She stood in a hallway, lost in thought, imagining the footsteps that had echoed here centuries ago. The ruins told a story of resilience and change, of a time when the castle was a fortress and a home. Emma felt a deep respect for the people who had lived through those times, and she was eager to learn more about their lives and experiences. Jack, a photographer, saw the castles as art. For him, each castle was a masterpiece, a blend of architecture and history that told a unique story. Jack was fascinated by the way light and shadows played on the ancient stone walls, creating a dynamic canvas that changed with the time of day and weather. He believed that through his lens, he could capture not just the physical beauty of the castles, but also the emotions they evoked. He loved their beauty and how the light and shadows played on their walls. Each photograph was a moment frozen in time, a glimpse into the soul of the castle. Jack spent hours waiting for the perfect light, knowing that the right moment could transform a simple wall into a work of art. He was particularly drawn to the interplay of light and shadow, which he felt revealed the true character of the castle. Through his photography, Jack aimed to share his vision with the world, to show others the beauty he saw in these ancient structures. His camera was his way of capturing not just what they looked like, but also how they made him feel. Each shot was a reflection of his emotional connection to the place, a way to preserve the memories and feelings that the castles inspired in him. Jack believed that a good photograph could convey more than just an image. It could tell a story, evoke emotions, and transport the viewer to another time and place. His goal was to create a visual narrative that would resonate with people and inspire them to see the world through his eyes, but also how they made him feel. He often found himself lost in thought, contemplating the stories behind the walls he photographed. Each castle had its own personality, its own history, and Jack felt privileged to capture a piece of that legacy. His photographs were more than just images. They were a testament to the enduring beauty and mystery of these ancient structures. Olivia was the practical one. She approached the trip with a healthy dose of skepticism, armed with maps, guidebooks, and a journal to document her findings. Olivia was determined to separate fact from fiction, to debunk the myths and legends that surrounded the castles. She believed that every story had a logical explanation, and she was on a mission to find it. She didn't believe in ghosts or legends. To her, the tales of hauntings and supernatural occurrences were just that, tales. Olivia was confident that she could prove these stories wrong with a little research and rational thinking. She often found herself amused by the ghost stories, shaking her head with a smile as she listened to the locals recount their experiences. But despite her skepticism, Olivia couldn't deny the thrill of exploring these ancient sites and uncovering the truth behind the legends. She thought their trip was a chance to prove that these stories weren't true. Olivia saw the journey as an opportunity to apply her analytical skills and challenge the myths that had persisted for centuries. She was eager to share her findings with Emma and Jack, hoping to provide a more grounded perspective on their adventure. Olivia believed that by understanding the real history of the castles, they could appreciate them even more. But even she couldn't help but feel a little excited about the unknown. Despite her practical nature, Olivia was intrigued by the mysteries that surrounded the castles. She found herself drawn to the stories, even if she didn't believe them. The sense of adventure and the possibility of discovering something new kept her curiosity alive. Olivia realized that sometimes the journey was just as important as the destination, and she was ready to embrace the unknown. Their adventure starts in the busy city of Edinburgh, where the famous Edinburgh Castle sits on top of a hill. The city was a bustling hub of activity, with its rich history and vibrant culture providing the perfect backdrop for their quest. The trio felt a sense of anticipation as they made their way through the crowded streets, knowing that their journey was about to begin. Where the famous Edinburgh Castle sits on top of a hill. The castle, with its imposing presence, seemed to watch over the city, a silent guardian of its past. As they approached, the trio couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. The castle's towering walls and majestic architecture were a testament to its historical significance, and they were eager to explore its secrets. From its high walls, you can see the whole city and imagine its exciting past. The view from the castle was breathtaking, offering a panoramic glimpse of Edinburgh's rich tapestry of history and modernity. The trio stood in silence, taking in the sights and imagining the events that had unfolded here over the centuries. It was a moment of reflection and inspiration, a reminder of the journey that lay ahead. As they walk up the Royal Mile, the main street leading to the castle, they can feel the excitement building, like they're stepping back in time. The Royal Mile was alive with activity, its cobblestone streets lined with shops, cafes, and historical landmarks. The trio felt a sense of connection to the past as they walked, imagining the countless footsteps that had traveled this path before them. The anticipation was palpable, and they knew that their adventure was just beginning. They can feel the excitement building, like they're stepping back in time. The closer they got to the castle, the more their excitement grew. The ancient stones seemed to hum with energy, and the trio felt a sense of camaraderie as they shared in the experience. They were united by their curiosity and passion for history, and they couldn't wait to see what the castle had in store for them. The castle gates, once guarded by soldiers, now welcome people from all over the world. The gates, with their intricate designs and historical significance, were a symbol of the castle's enduring legacy. As the trio passed through, they felt a sense of reverence for the history that had been preserved within these walls. The reenactments of historical guards added to the atmosphere, making them feel as though they had truly stepped back in time. Now welcome people from all over the world, each hoping to catch a glimpse of Edinburgh's famous ghosts. The castle was a melting pot of cultures and stories, with visitors from all corners of the globe coming to experience its magic. The trio joined the throngs of tourists, each with their own reasons for visiting. Some were there for the history, others for the architecture, and some, like Emma, Jack, and Olivia, were there for the adventure. The possibility of encountering one of Edinburgh's famous ghosts added an extra layer of excitement to their journey, each hoping to catch a glimpse of Edinburgh's famous ghosts. The legends of hauntings and supernatural occurrences were an integral part of the castle's allure. As the trio explored, they couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and curiosity. Whether they believed in ghosts or not, the stories added a layer of mystery to their adventure, making every shadow and whisper seem more significant. The trio was ready to uncover the secrets of Edinburgh Castle, and their quest had only just begun. The streets leading up to Edinburgh Castle seemed to echo with the footsteps of people from the past. Emma, holding her guidebook, told her friends scary stories about battles and executions. Jack, his camera clicking away, took pictures of the castle's stone monsters and cannons, trying to capture its beauty. Olivia, even though she didn't believe in ghosts, felt a chill as they walked through the castle gates. Inside the castle, the air felt heavy with history and the memory of those who died there. The stories were like something out of a scary novel, the ghost of a drummer boy, forever sounding the alarm. Lady Glamis, accused of being a witch and burned alive, her screams still echoing in the stone, and the sad spirits of countless prisoners. As they went deeper into the castle, it got colder and harder to breathe. Even Olivia started to feel uneasy. Leaving Edinburgh Castle behind, they traveled west to Stirling Castle, perched on a cliff overlooking the River Forth. The journey was filled with anticipation as they approached the ancient stronghold, its silhouette growing larger against the horizon. The castle, with its imposing walls and strategic position, had been a key site in Scotland's history, witnessing countless battles and sieges. This castle had seen many battles and changes of power over the centuries. Each stone seemed to whisper tales of bravery and treachery, of kings and queens who had walked its halls. The air was thick with the weight of history, and every corner of the castle held a story waiting to be discovered. Here, the most famous ghost is the Green Lady, the spirit of a maid who died saving her mistress from a fire. Her bravery and sacrifice had immortalized her in the annals of the castle's history. Visitors often spoke of feeling a sudden chill or hearing faint whispers when they walked through the dimly lit hallways. People say her green dress can still be seen in the castle's hallways, a symbol of hope and protection. The dress, shimmering with an ethereal glow, was said to appear when someone in the castle was in danger, a guardian spirit watching over the inhabitants. As they walked through the castle's grand rooms, Emma told them stories of Mary Queen of Scots, whose life was full of sadness. The Queen's tragic tale added another layer of melancholy to the already haunting atmosphere of the castle. Emma's voice echoed through the vast chambers, bringing the past to life with each word. Jack imagined the laughter and conversations that once filled the rooms as he took pictures of the tapestries. The intricate designs and vibrant colors of the tapestries told stories of their own, depicting scenes of courtly life and historical events. Jack felt a connection to the past, as if he could almost hear the voices of those who had once lived there. Olivia, still trying to be logical, said the Green Lady sightings were just tricks of the light and drafts. She pointed out the way the light played off the stone walls, creating illusions that could easily be mistaken for ghostly apparitions. Yet, despite her rational explanations, there was an undeniable sense of unease that lingered in the air. But as the sun set and shadows grew longer, even she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching them. The castle seemed to come alive in the twilight, its ancient stones whispering secrets of the past. The group huddled closer together, their footsteps echoing through the empty halls as they felt the presence of the Green Lady watching over them. Their journey continued north to Glamis Castle, a place full of mystery and whispers of dark secrets. This castle, once home to kings and queens, had a feeling of both grandeur and tragedy. The most unsettling story is about the monster of Glamis, a deformed child said to be hidden away in a secret room. As they walked through the castle's quiet and beautifully decorated rooms, Emma told the story of Earl Beardy, who supposedly gambled with the devil himself in one of the towers. Jack, drawn to the contrast between the castle's beauty and its dark stories, took pictures of the stone monsters on the roof. Olivia, though still skeptical, felt a darkness in the very walls of the castle. Their final stop was Eilean Donan, a castle rising from a small island in the water connected to the mainland by a narrow bridge. Its reflection in the water is a classic image of Scotland's romantic and war-torn past. Here in the wild beauty of the Western Highlands, it was hard to tell where reality ended and legend began. As they crossed the bridge, a cold wind blew, carrying the smell of the sea and a faint sad cry from the castle. Emma told them about the castle's violent history, from Viking attacks to battles for Scottish independence. Jack, inspired by the castle's beauty, kept taking pictures. Olivia, her skepticism fading, felt a shiver down her spine, like unseen eyes were watching them. As their trip came to an end, the three friends sat by a warm fire in a cozy pub. They were quiet, each lost in thought about their adventure. Emma, her notebook full of historical facts, thought about all the history she had learned. Jack looked through the hundreds of pictures he had taken, each one bringing back memories of the castles. Olivia, usually so quick to make a joke or explain things logically, was unusually quiet. The experiences of the past few days had made her question what she believed. Had she really felt a cold spot in Glamis Castle, or was it just her imagination? Had she heard a whisper in Edinburgh Castle, or just the wind? She didn't know what to believe anymore. "I've always been a woman of science," Olivia admitted, breaking the silence. She had spent years studying the natural world, dissecting its mysteries with a clinical eye. Yet, standing in the shadow of these ancient walls, she felt something she couldn't quite explain. "But I can't deny what I felt in those castles. It was as if the air itself was thick with the echoes of the past, whispering secrets that only the heart could understand. The weight of history, the sadness, the presence." Emma nodded, her eyes reflecting the same sense of awe. She had always been more attuned to the emotional currents of a place, and these castles were no exception. "History leaves its mark," she said softly, "not just in the form of crumbling walls and faded tapestries, but in the very essence of the place. It's like the stones themselves have absorbed the emotions of those who lived and died here. Not just on the physical world, but on the energy of a place. You can almost feel the joy and sorrow, the love and loss that have seeped into the very fabric of these ancient structures. Those castles have seen so much happiness and suffering, so much life and death. Each stone, each archway holds a story waiting to be told, a memory waiting to be uncovered. It's no wonder their stones hold on to those memories, those emotions." Jack, who was always watching and listening, spoke up. He had always been the skeptic, the one who needed proof before he believed. "Whether you believe in ghosts or not doesn't really matter," he said. "What matters is the power of these stories, the way they connect us to the past, to the people who came before us. It's about the shared human experience, the continuity of life. What matters is the power of these stories, the way they connect us to the past, to the people who came before us. It's about the shared human experience, the continuity of life." His words hung in the air, resonating with a truth they all felt but couldn't quite articulate. He was right, they all realized. The castles were more than just stone and mortar, they were vessels of human emotion, repositories of countless lives and stories. The stories, the legends, the whispers of the past were what made these places so special. They were the threads that wove the tapestry of history, connecting the present to the past in a seamless continuum. They reminded us that we are all part of something bigger than ourselves, connected to the people who lived before us. Each visit to these ancient sites was a journey through time, a chance to touch the intangible and feel the weight of history. And sometimes those connections can feel very real, blurring the lines between the past, the present, and the unknown. In those moments, the power of belief becomes undeniable, a force that transcends time and space, linking us to the eternal human story. As they left the warm pub and stepped out into the night, the stars shining above them, they knew that their lives were forever changed. They had started their journey looking for answers, but they ended it with even more questions. Had they met real ghosts, or just the echoes of a dramatic past? The answer, they realized, was somewhere between belief and skepticism, where logic and imagination meet. One thing was certain, they would never forget their time in the haunted castles of Scotland. They would carry the memories, the stories, and the sense of wonder with them always, a reminder that the world is full of mysteries, and that the most incredible journeys are often the ones that make us look inside ourselves. The Scottish Highlands, with their wild beauty, their history, and their legends, had worked their magic on them, leaving them forever enchanted, forever changed.